Joining us now is California Congressman Khanna. He is a member of the House Oversight Committee that hosted the hearing on gun violence this morning. And that's where I want to start. And we hear from Mia Cirillo, and welcome, Congressman. Thank you for being with me. Where does her voice fit into this conversation? And do you think any minds were changed today by what we heard from these witnesses, these families?
I do. I mean, I was just listening as a father, and it was just heartbreaking, gut-wrenching when Kimberly Rubio talked about Lexi and that she was going to be on a scholarship. Her aspiration was to have a scholarship for soccer and to study math and a lawyer. You just realize what a senseless waste of life. And she asked the question I think the whole country should be asked, and that is, do we value guns more or do we value our children more? Actually, even Republicans were moved. The question is, what are we going to do now? How are we actually going to get something done?
Let's talk about that then. The House will likely pass the Protect Our Kids Act, which is essentially a non-starter in the Senate. You've heard from Lauren Fox's reporting there, the limited scope of what is possible that Republicans will agree to. Will Democrats in the House, specifically progressives, accept whatever you can get that can get passed through the Senate?
Yes, we will, because I want to move the ball forward, because I've been in Congress almost 6 years, and we've had mass shooting after mass shooting. We had moments of silence, and not a single piece of substantive legislation has gotten passed in my 6 years in Congress. That's an embarrassment. So, yes, if we can get longer waiting periods for people who are 18, 19, 20 to get military-style weapons, that's not enough. I'd rather they not have these weapons. But sure, I will take that. If we can get red flag laws. By the way, red flag laws have due process. You have to go to a judge. You have to say there's evidence that someone has made threats. If people who have made threats shouldn't have weapons, that's progress. But one thing
red
I want to say,
flag laws, Congress, let me just say,
sure.
Red flag laws are not in that column of things that are likely progressing. It's potentially incentivizing states to pass red flag laws, which we've actually heard from some conservatives in the Senate who say they don't support that either.
Well, that's even more diluted. We're not even saying let's have red flag laws so that if someone like the Uvalde shooter makes threats against his own family, that you can go to a judge and say, let's take the gun away. What we're saying is let's just incentivize the states to do that. I don't understand how you can't be for such common sense. You know, one of the things I asked on the hearing is, do you believe that felons should have these guns? Do you believe drug traffickers should have these guns? And, of course, even the Republicans agreed that they shouldn't have them. Well, right now they can get them because they can get them from private sellers. I don't understand why we wouldn't want to make sure you have background checks so that drug traffickers can't get these guns. This is not about taking away Second Amendment rights. It's about protecting law-abiding citizens from getting guns and not having criminals or people make threats get guns.
Let me ask you about the approach here from Democrats. As I said, Democrats likely going to pass the Protecting Our Kids Act, which frankly does a lot of the things in the column on that graphic we just showed that are not on the table for the members of the Senate. But I remember, Congressman, you were on several times during the discussions over Build Back Better. And there were bicameral talks. There were bipartisan talks at the White House, bringing Republicans into the conversation. In this case, that didn't happen in the House. Why not? Do you think that could have been helpful in this process?
Well, we are hearing from the families who have victims that they want something done. And we're moving forward with things that are already a compromise. Many of us wanted an assault weapons ban. That's not in the bill we're going to be voting on. Many of us wanted a buyback program for assault weapons. That's not on the bill.
But you did it without conversing with the Republicans in the House. Do you think that could have been helpful to get to some type of agreement in the House?
Well, we have conversed. We had hearings where Republicans were there. We've reached out to Republicans. I'm so hopeful some Republicans will vote for the bill. But let me just say clearly what the bill does that we're voting on tonight. It says that if you're 18 years old, you shouldn't have a military weapon. It raises the age to 21. It says that we should strengthen the laws against gun trafficking, so you can't be illegally creating a fake ID to have these guns. I mean, these are common sense things that I'm hoping that some moderate Republicans will support.
All right, Congressman Khanna of California, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.